Hey friends, if we haven't met, I am Cheyenne Warner. I am the Women's Ministry Coordinator here at Peace Church. I'm really excited to come to you guys with this watercolor tutorial. I got to do it in person with a bunch of ladies on December 2nd at Connection Christmas, but I know there were some of you that maybe weren't able to come or you heard about it too late and didn't get signed up. Whatever it is, I'm excited to paint with you guys. We're going to make a little tree painting here with our watercolor and then put it onto a little card here that you can send in the mail or keep if it turns out good. Maybe you want to keep it. I'm excited to get going with you. Hey friends, I am excited to show you this painting demonstration here. This is what we did at Connections Christmas on December 2nd with a bunch of ladies in person, and now I'm just going to do a recorded one for those of you who weren't able to come. So this is our end product here that we hope it turns out like they'll all be a little bit different, which is great because fir trees are all different looking anyways too. Some are tall and some are fat and some are really full and some are kind of sparse, and so they'll all look different. And I tell you what, everyone that I've seen has all turned out so cool, and it's even neat that they are different. So let's begin by talking about what you'll need. So you will need a paintbrush. Some of you might have thin paintbrushes, some of you might have bigger ones. This one is a size 12, and so this is one of the bigger ones. So it'll hold a lot of water, and that'll be really nice for the beginning part when we're covering the whole thing with paint and water. And then when it comes time to do the details with the trees, I'll just need to just use the tip of the paintbrush. So I'll show you that. Now for those of you who have a smaller brush, it's not going to hold as much water. So this beginning part, you're going to have to like really load it up with a lot of water and make sure to soak your paper really well, which I'll explain as we go. Okay, so you have your watercolor paper. If you look at your paper, you can kind of see here, there are two sides to it. One side has a lot of texture, and the texture is coming out at you. And the other side is a little bit smoother. It has texture, but it's, if you feel it, it's a lot smoother. The side that you want to use, and it's not a huge deal, but the side that you want to use is the more textured side. So there's your watercolor paper. With watercolors, you really want to use a cotton 140 gram weight paper. My favorite is Arches, and that's kind of the standard that watercolor artists use. You can use other things than that, but it does make a difference in how your painting appears, because it saturates the paper differently, and so it can end up causing some weird things that you're like, you might think that you're a worse artist than you are, and it really is just a matter of not using high quality paper. So you also need glue, a paper towel, some paint. If you picked up a kit for me, we have this indigo color. It's like a dark navy blue, and then some white. I have my white right here, but the kit should have some white in it too, and my water. And then if you picked up a kit from me, you should have these step-by-step instructions anyways, and this is what I'm going to use as we go to help you know the steps. So feel free to pause this if you're working on a step and you need to slow down. That's what I do when I'm doing a tutorial with an artist on YouTube, is I always just pause it so that I can catch up to where they're at. So step one, it says mix the water into the white paint with your brush so that it's drippy but still very opaque. So for you guys with the kits, you have a plastic plate, and you're gonna go ahead and do that right now. I have the same paint, and I'm gonna actually just add a little bit of water to the top of my lid here. So I'm just gonna dip it in. Whoops, we don't need that right now. So I'm just gonna dip my paintbrush in and just swish it around in here. And so what we're doing is we're just getting it ready. The white is what we'll use at the end, but we don't want to have blue in our water for mixing the blue paint, so that's why we want to do the white first. Okay, so that is really good. It's like, I would say like a cream, like a heavy whipping cream type of consistency. You can see it's still drippy, but it's not thick, and it's also not like watery like skim milk. So it will dry a little bit with the time that it takes us to paint the rest of it, so it'll be okay if you did overdo it, but that's the consistency that you want. And then just swish your brush out here. Okay, so the next step that it says Step 2, it says paint a large square with clean water in a back and forth motion from top to bottom. And you'll notice in the picture here that I left a margin around. Now I saw some people who didn't leave a margin and it turned out great still, but I do like the margin for myself, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It's gonna be a little bit hard to see because you're gonna have, it's clear. But do your best, and if you can't tell, oh, I don't know how wet it is, take it up to the light and look for it, what's glossy and what's not, because it should be glossy if it's wet. So do your best to just do a squiggle back and forth here, get that whole area, aside from the margins, I should say. And it's okay if it's not straight lines. All right, so I'm gonna check here. It's a little bit hard to see if I got everything, but I did have a big brush, and so it makes it easier to not have any dry spots. And I'm looking, I think maybe right there is just a little bit of a dry spot. I'm just gonna make sure I get that. Okay. So make sure you get that, and then the next thing is we're gonna go ahead and mix the blue. So that's step 3, is mixing the blue. So you can see my blue is dry too. I'm gonna take some of my water here, swish it around in my blue, and you really want it to still be dark. So this is not quite dark enough to me. I'm gonna go ahead and grab more of my darkest color, or my dark dried color, and mix it in here. Okay, and then you really want to fill your brush up really nice and full with that blue, dark blue. And then you're gonna take your, this is like the wow moment, guys. It was kind of fun doing this in front of a bunch of ladies because you could hear the in the room. So you're going to go ahead and just tap. Oops, I still don't have quite enough. Tap the top. And you just kind of see it spread. I still don't have enough. Here we go. You see it spread. There we go. There it is. And it just looks so pretty. And so now you're going to be tempted to go back and forth and to paint, right? That's what you do with acrylics. But with watercolor, doing that can break down the pigment and it can make it really granulated and kind of have a weird texture. So we don't want to do that. Just a little bit of tapping right now is really what you want to do. And then here's what you can also do. So you can tip it, and because there's water down here, it's going to all drip. Now I'm looking at this and it's asymmetrical, and that bugs me. So what I'm going to do is take my watercolor, or take my paper towel, and I'm just going to lightly tap it. And I kind of want it to form like more of a curtain. Like if you look at this, I kind of like how it has this glow about the inside, and so the dark is around. Oh, like maybe a vignette, I guess, would be a good way to describe it. So I'm just gonna tap lightly around the middle here too. Now for some people, I noticed that it looked really dry in that center area, and so if it didn't like flow down like mine did just now, what you can do is you can just take some water without all the paint on it and just go right underneath it, and that'll help to make that gradient, that ombre effect more. And then if you want to, you don't have to do this because it can be just plain. It doesn't have to be colored. You can just go ahead and color that back again so that you have that ombre effect still. All right. So I think that looks good. I'm happy with it. And you can, if you want to, create a little bit more of a difference in a darker sky. You can go back in with a little bit more dark at the top again. And just let it go like that. All right, so here's where you're gonna want to let it dry for a while. Okay, so once that's dry, and you want to make sure it's dry, you can pat it and feel it, and if it feels kind of cold and it still isn't quite dry yet, if you're really impatient, you can just blot it again a little bit with your paper towel. I would wait until it's mostly dry though, otherwise it might make some funny textures. Then you're going to take your paintbrush, and you want to get some of that blue. Now here you can kind of use your own, decide for yourself what you want to do. You can either do a really thin line like you see in my tutorial. I did a really thin line for the ground, step 6. Or you can do a thicker line like I have here. I think either one looks great. So we'll do, I don't know, we'll see what my paintbrush does, I guess. So, but you don't want to do it all the way across. You want to do it maybe just like from here to here. So just the center, like 2 inches. So I have it upside down because what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw those stripes towards me that are going to be the tree trunks. And I don't want to draw them up really far. So you can see here, pretend like I didn't, when I edited this, I didn't put this upside down, but just so that they're a little ways below where the blue comes here. Okay, so if you're right-handed, you want to start from left to right so you don't smudge it with your finger, and vice versa if you're left-handed. So I'm going to just go, and you want them to be varying lengths, and again, just the tip of your brush here. They don't have to be evenly spaced necessarily. You make some of them tall, short. Mine are pretty evenly spaced right now, but maybe I'll put this one a little bit taller. You can just do, I don't know, 6 or 7. Do whatever floats your boat. Mine look like they're on a little bit of an angle, but you won't be able to tell. They're not quite straight up and down. But once we do the lines, you won't be able to tell. Okay, so grab a little bit more, and we're just going to do lines straight across, so perpendicular to that. You can see right here in step 8, we're going to start doing lines straight across, and you want them to be spaced out a little bit so they're not going to end up being blobs. So space between each line. Doesn't have to be perfect, and we're going to do them, start at the top and be small lines and then get to be larger lines at the bottom. And again, working from left to right on the trees. So, and I know you're going to think it does not look good right now, and you're going to be afraid of running into the other tree, but that's okay. And you also don't want all the lines to be like as if this was one big line across here. So space them out, make them different. Oh, see, I keep doing that for some reason. It's kind of hard. All right. And you can kind of just like let it go and let yourself go and just enjoy painting the lines and things not having to be perfect. Another thing you might want to do is to leave a little bit of space here for the tree trunks, but I've done some where I've done that, and I've done some where I haven't really.
It's too light in my bedroom, Mom.
Okay. Parenting moment for a second. Hey, bud.
It's too bright.
Okay, turn the bathroom light off. Okay, so now that we've done that, we want to make things look a little bit less perfect and less parallel.
I want this thing in my bedroom so I could play with it.
Okay, sounds good. Love you, bud. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with just some like half lines, like maybe on just like the side, one side. Just kind of fill it in a little bit. Again, trying just to use the tip of your brush so that it's not gonna make too many blobs, too thick of a blob or anything, but also trying to break up the anything that looks too parallel.
It breaks.
That's weird. Well, maybe we can do some tape in the morning, okay?
No, it's all broken. You can't fix it. It's supposed to hook on this.
Okay. Hey, bud. Is this what you're supposed to be doing right now?
I'm scared going back to bed.
Okay, I'll be there in just 1 second. All right. And if it did end up being a blob, just trust me, hang in there, because once we put snow on it, that'll help give it some more definition again, and it won't look very blobby. So, but at this point, we need to just let it rest and dry, and we'll come back to it with our white paint. Okay, so we have done everything through here, and then if you turn the page here, so step 9 is cleaning your brush off. So you want to get all the blue out there. I went away, and now everything's in a little bit different of a spot now that my painting's dry, and so gotta reorient here and go back to your white paint. Pick it up on your brush, and again with just the tip of your brush. So especially if you have a big brush, you're going to want to make sure it's not too wet. You can dry it off again on your paper towel and then just get it on the tip. And you're going to do just like kind of the same thing that we did with the blue, but just less. So you're just gonna do little swishy things, like lines in your, let's see. Did I have you splatter snow first? I did have you splatter snow in this. You can splatter snow first, or you can do the snow on the trees. Either way. I guess we'll follow along with what the brochure says. So to splatter it, you do want actually quite a bit of white on here. And so you're going to take your finger of your opposite hand to what you normally are painting with, and you're just going to tap your brush on your finger. So, and that's going to create some snowflakes effect here. And you especially want the snow to be up in the sky area. So if it's not doing a lot, you might just need a little bit more water on your brush before you pick up the white paint. You can do it as much or as little as you want. I kind of like a lot of snow. And then to put the snow on your tree branches, again, you might want to kind of just dry your brush off and just get it on the tip, just get the white on the tip. And then you're just going to do like a little line here. Some of them can go right straight through the middle even too. And just kind of little bits here and there. The lines don't have to be perfect. The lines don't even have to be, they can be on angles even a little bit too. This is kind of the part where like, it's kind of just your intuition. You're just kind of letting go and just putting white lines here and there. And just like that, ta-da! And that, my friends, is the tutorial. So that is the painting. Now from here you can either get a 4x4 frame. I'll show you the frame that I love, that I use for a lot of my paintings. So this frame right here I get from Hobby Lobby, and I just really love what it does, how it just accentuates the paintings here. So you can get this from Hobby Lobby if you want to put your 4x4 painting in one of these frames, or what we did at Connections Christmas is we glued it to a card. And so if that's what you're going to do, you can grab your card right now. Okay, so you can grab your card, and you probably don't want to do this while it's still wet, but as soon as it's dry, flip it over, glue it like you are a 5-year-old. So gobs of glue on your paper, especially on the edges and the corners, because watercolor paper, especially once it gets wet, it kind of warps a little bit, and so it can be a little tricky to glue down. So you really want to just smother that backside with lots of glue, and then you can glue it right to your card, and voila, you have a beautiful watercolor painting. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you did it, and send me your pictures. I would love to see how it turned out. Let me know if you want to see more tutorials, because I would love to do that for you as well. Thanks.